Hi, thanks for joining me. I've noticed just lately that a few things that I've been was talking about a couple of years ago is starting to unfold a lot more in the news, on the internet lately. We're getting a lot more information coming out about which way this could be heading. So one of those areas is around the UFOs. I think it was 2 years ago, I was saying there was more evidence going to show up. People were going to be speaking up more about what they knew about UFOs. And then earlier this year, I felt like it was building. So this year was going to be the year where it was really starting to come to the forefront. So there was a couple of things that just popped up on my feed on social media. There was one where there was a Ross Coulter, who is an Australian journalist. He did an interview with someone who had a lot of information about the knowledge that they had about UFOs and what had been kept, what governments had kept from the public. So that was being talked about. You could probably look that interview up online to see what was spoken about. And then I also saw Barack Obama, that he was also talking about the information that he had and had these sightings, but they just didn't know what it was. There was no logical explanation for what they were seeing in the sky. So, I mean, he's speaking about it himself. I just felt like there was going to be so much more come up, and in a way it's quite possibly that we're talking about it more so that we can get used to the idea to eliminate the fear. Because I know if you read some of the reports where people have encountered a situation with UFOs, with aliens, with things that we don't see all the time, they're new to us, some of those reports can be quite alarming, because the people have written that they felt paralyzed, or they had a beam of light sent to them and it froze them. And there was a lot of fear, because I could imagine if you are reading reports like that, you're going to be fearful that if it happened to you, if you encountered a UFO or you encountered an alien and they had the ability to freeze you, that's going to definitely make you afraid. So I kind of feel like maybe the reports that were coming through were more on the side of people experience something fearful, rather than the reports coming through of people experiencing something that they were quite excited about. So quite possibly this is why it was all kept hidden, because that's just going to create more and more fear, isn't it? I've experienced hearing a UFO above my house. I've talked about this story before. I felt no fear at all. I've seen them and I've sort of felt them. I've had the blue people in my home. I don't feel the fear, but then again, I've never had something happen to me where they've froze me, or where they've shined a light at me, a ray of whatever at me. So I haven't experienced the fearful side of it, so I understand that a lot of people have. So yeah, that's definitely coming out a lot more in the topics, and a lot of whistleblowers are about to really give a lot of information on the whole topic of UFOs. So that is something that's unfolding. And also around how I've been talking for about 3 or 4 years now, how I've always seen us moving into a different digital wallet currency. That is moving a lot quicker, and you're starting to hear a lot more authoritative figures that work in finance, sort of like the Reserve Bank of Australia. I don't know about the rest of the world, but they're starting to explore this a lot more. I don't think it's exactly like cryptocurrency. I kind of feel like it's similar. It's going to be similar. I also see some problems, which I guess if someone is thinking, if the whole system is thinking about moving into this direction, they have to see the problems that could come with this. I know when I speak to people and I say that cash will disappear, they panic because cash can be a way that you hide things, can't it? You know, you pay people cash, you don't pay tax on it. A lot of businesses want to do that because everyone is in this world, they don't want to pay governments. We work really hard. We don't want to be paying our money out to everybody else for what we believe we earn. So how do we get around the system if it's all on digital? How do we avoid that? And also, digital systems will rely on the internet. The internet can drop down. You know, when you go into a shop and the internet has gone out or the power has gone out and you can't pay for anything. I mean, I went into a shop and they had no FPOS facilities at all, and their whole banking system, like their whole till system, was out through a power shortage. I couldn't pay for my items and I had to just walk out. I just couldn't get them that day. So I can see if they're going to go into that way, they have to also have some kind of a system where there is a trade with something physical, so that you can also use that as a backup. I saw that the Reserve Bank were talking about this, and they were, what did they call it? They were trying to come up with something like a digital dollars. So digital dollars could be stored on hardware, but it's not in bank accounts, and it can still be used if there is no internet connection. So I remember a couple of years ago when I was talking about all this change of digital money systems and everything, I remember seeing a gold coin, and I felt like the gold coin was going to be some way of being of value. You can have a value on that, held on that coin. Maybe it would have a code on it, so if you swiped it you would see the value of what's held on that coin, and you could use that to pay, and then they could just swipe it and then take off the value of the coin, something like that. So I don't know, it's all unfolding in bits and pieces, but I have been speaking about this for such a long time, that we were going into this digital money system. I guess they'll have to smooth out all the little problems along the way. And because cryptocurrency is decentralized and fiat currency is controlled and regulated by the governments, so they're not going to just try to let go of their control and regulations that they have. They're going to try, if it's going in this direction, which I see it's still going in this direction, they're going to want to have their bit of it, aren't they? They want to have their bit of control over it. So whatever is created for us, they're still going to want their bit. But I still don't think the banks are going to be the ones that have control. I see us as people having control over our own money. I see us using an app of some sort that is our choice, what we use. And it will. I do believe it is shifting. I've seen it for such a long time, and I said between 2025 and 2030 is when we'll see most of that major change coming with the finances. So yeah, a couple of things that I've been talking about for a really long time. I'm really happy to see that they're starting to unfold, and as things unfold, I start to sort of understand what it was I was being shown, that I had no clue what it was before when I was being shown that. So thank you again for listening to me.